Hello, everyone, and welcome to LFG. I'm Ian Horn, and today we have an interview that's right in the sweet spot for Let FinTech Grow. I say that as I'm joined by Chui Yan Yau, Tech Innovation Strategy Manager at Accenture and Director of FinTech Innovation Lab London, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So Chui has been running this year's cohort for the lab, which has just closed, and it brought together some of the most dynamic FinTech startups in the country. And I think we can get insight into some trends from this, but more importantly, in my opinion, or at least from this podcast's perspective, the hurdles and opportunities that today's founders are facing. So, Chui, I have high hopes, no pressure. Welcome to LFG.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chui. So Ian already gave a perfect introduction of what I do. So I'm a tech innovation strategy manager in Accenture, and I run the lab for this year. My background is always in financial services, innovation, digital transformation, digital assets, emerging technologies. And then this year, I have the privilege to work with some of the amazing fintechs in the UK fintech ecosystem. So yeah, it was a really great experience.
Amazing. And from your own perspective, obviously doing digital assets and things like that, it sounds like you've been at the bleeding edge of innovation for quite some time now.
Yeah, literally. I've been in Accenture for 8 years now, and then I was in the innovation team and started getting involved in blockchain technologies, and I found it really interesting. And then because we always are interested in emerging technologies, and then the FinTech Lab is really closely aligned to what we do as well. So we tried. So I got like a message from one of the leadership. He's asking anyone interested to run the lab for the 2026 cohort. I was like, yeah, I'm interested in. So that's why I started it. And it was an amazing year of experience working with the fintechs and also run the 3 months program.
Brilliant. And let's just do a quick overview, to get it from you rather than from me. I mean, the FinTech Innovation Lab, I've been aware of it for many years. I've never been heavily involved with it or even, I've never actually been to a session. I'd love to know more about it. So could you tell the listeners more about what you guys do?
Yes. So the FinTech Innovation Lab was first established in New York, and then we had the London lab established in 2012. Since then, we've been running the FinTech Lab every year. So the FinTech Innovation Lab program is a 12-week accelerator program funded by Accenture, and then it is designed to connect high potential fintechs with the Accenture partners and financial institutions and our industry mentors. The main aim is to help these startups to validate their product market fit, refine their propositions, build meaningful industry relationships with financial institutions, and also help them accelerate their growth.
That sounds really, really valuable. And that's a very cool thing. So in time, anyone who listens further, we'll go into how you can get involved, of course, and we'll talk about some success stories too. But what I'd like to know is this year, obviously you've had 12 companies. Is it 12 or 13 this year?
14 fintechs this year. Yeah.
Okay, great. So 14 companies. I'd like to know how you select those people. Do they apply to you? Do you scout them, or is there something else entirely?
Yeah, so we have selected these 14 fintechs from over 200 applications. So at the beginning of this financial years, we interviewed more than 30 clients to understand from them what are their strategic priorities. And at the same time, we scout fintechs in the relevant area and also scout startups who look at innovative technologies to solve real industry problems. From there, we down selected some of them for client scoring. After the client scoring assessment, then we will select them to our full-on interview week. We'll invite them to come to our interview week to do a pitch and demo. On the scoring panel, we have our mentors, we have our Accenture clients who are interested in the innovation area be on the panel. We also have Accenture leadership and SMEs in relevant areas to score these startups. And then from there, we select 10 to 14 fintechs every year to form the cohort. And this year, we have 40 fintechs across the area of data and AI, digital asset, and market infrastructure, risk compliance and security, and also next generation customer propositions. So these are the areas of fintechs really closely aligned to what the financial institutions are interested in and what other tech trends are currently on the market.
I think that's absolutely fascinating, like
Yeah,
starting from a position of
yeah,
demand, like
yeah,
knowing who your clients are looking for and then choosing
yeah,
from that. I mean, that's
yeah.
I think that's a really sensible starting point. But can you go into more detail on those areas? Obviously, you've given me the kind of headline names of what they are, but
Mhm.
what were clients saying to you? What kind of pain points did they want resolved?
Mhm. Yeah. So we are seeing a lot of companies want to see real well enterprise solution. So they're not just looking at like experimentation, and then most of the time they would like to see the fintechs already have like an MVP or a prototype or live solution, so that they can definitely work with them. And then one of the highlight of our program is the key relationship that we have with our central partners who can potentially work with these startups. So we would like to see the startups already have like a prototype and real life solution. So we are seeing a lot of firms are moving beyond experimentation, but focusing on real world enterprise adoption, governance, trust, and operational value. Uh, Especially in data and AI, is not just about experimentation, but more on real use cases in AI governance, infrastructure, agentic AI, enterprise onboarding automation. So these are some of the key areas that we are seeing. And then in the digital asset area, we see a lot of interest in digital currency, digital money, tokenization. And then in risk compliance and security, we are seeing a lot of traction and interest in cyber security, cyber risk, compliance automation, and operational resilience. And then in terms of next gen customer proposition, we were seeing interest in open banking, financial well-being and embedded advice. So yeah, so we have all these startup in our cohort this year, and we also involved with our Accenture SMEs to help them give them industry perspective, so that they can get prepared to work with our financial institutions and our Accenture clients. Yeah.
Very, very cool. And actually, those themes they really mesh well with what I've been seeing
Hmm.
in the FinTech Scout piece that I do every week on the newsletter. Because yeah, these are exactly the areas where companies are coming from. But
Hmm.
you also speak to something which is relatable to me, which is
Hmm.
receiving 200 applications and having to sift it down to 14. It
Yeah.
just reminds me intuitively of my work at Money 2020 when I'd receive 1,000 plus speaking applications and would have to pick a small selection of people from that group. So I'd like to ask, if someone is trying to apply to be part of the cohort, what does
Hmm.
a good application look like?
Right. Very good question. So we are looking for an application with a pitch deck, and also would be great to see their demo or like a pitch video, because that will help us to understand um, the founders and what are the actual solution they were selling and what are the technology that they were trying to do. And then we are also looking at specifically the product differentiation, what is the problem statement they are having, and what are the USB they would like to articulate, what are the value proposition, and do they already have traction with some of the financial institutions, who are the enterprise they were looking for to partner with. So yeah, I think these are some of the key things that we look at when we filter through all the applications.
Yeah, I can see that as well. I'm increasingly seeing companies speak about what they're actually doing versus what they say they're going to do. And I think that
Mm,
is certainly, if you're looking to join these schemes, certainly something
yeah,
that appears to be more important than ever. I guess the flip side to this is what should people avoid doing? And again,
yeah,
I received some wild applications for
yeah,
Money 2020. I mean, I had
yeah,
someone apply to pretend to
mhm,
be a shaman, for instance, which I thought would have been great. I would have loved to have seen it, but
yeah,
I wasn't going to put my neck on the line and be the person who booked a shaman.
yeah,
I mean, but I'm not expecting you had anything like that. But if someone is
yeah.
trying to apply, what should they avoid doing?
Avoid. I think avoid not filling in the key questions that we ask them to fill.
People
I
always
know,
do that, don't they?
yeah.
People always
So
just leave things blank. Yeah.
literally, yeah, because I know the founders, they are really busy. So we did have a feedback from some of the founders saying our application form is too long. So we were trying to refine a little bit for next year, so that it's really asking the key questions that are determining whether the application will go through or not. So we will do that. But then at the same time, we will appreciate the founders really fill in the application form. So we will not like falsely like remove that application. And then also make sure they have like a pitch deck, but not sending us like the website link,
Yeah.
because it's very different, a pitch deck and their official website. We don't really understand that much from their official website. But then the pitch deck and the video that created will help us understand a lot better what is their product, what they're trying to, what are the solution they are trying to build. So that will massively help us on go through the details of the startup's application.
Yeah, and I enjoy this. You're speaking to certain things that I like talking about. I mean, on the marketing side of things, differentiation, which you mentioned earlier, is really crucial, I think, in
Yes.
today's market. But then also, as you say, actually putting the time in to explain what you do, be it
Yeah.
through a deck or your website or whatever else, is really
Yeah.
important. And I'm always astonished that people don't fill in the
Mhm.
forms because, like, if you're gonna get someone to commit resource to what you're doing, surely you fill the form in. But
Mhm.
that's my own gripe, I think, from years doing this. I also know they can take a long time. So
Yeah.
it is just one of
Yeah.
them things. I think your process sounds sensible to me anyway. I
Yeah.
haven't tried to fill in the form, but who knows? Maybe one day. Maybe one day I'll have
Yes.
a reason to. Uh, so I guess the next thing is to go the actual accelerator itself. Like, what kind of support do you offer to founders?
So we normally, over the 3 months of the program, we help the founders to um, on the areas of sales and go-to-market strategy, enterprise readiness, um, investment readiness, fundraising, and proposition development. So we created a program which involves workshops that are delivered by mentors or our Accenture partners, and we collaborate with our clients to organize partner days where these startups will be invited to the client's office to pitch to executives or do a deep dive session with their SMEs to help them validate their value proposition or positioning on the market, so that they can reiterate upon based on the feedback that they got from the SMEs. So the overall program, we will have more than 100 hours of coaching and mentoring sessions, not only from the workshop and the partner days that we organize for the startups, but also we assign them mentors who are ex-founders or very credible in the industry, who are ex-executives of large enterprise, or they are investors themselves, to give the startups feedback how to pitch in terms of like investment readiness and enterprise readiness. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's really comprehensive and definitely useful stuff. I mean, what is it that founders have a habit of getting wrong? Because
Mhm.
I can imagine, you're flooding them with advice, which is great. So
Yeah.
what are the common mistakes you see people making before they enter the program?
Um, the core mistake during the program, do you mean?
Oh, so I guess before the program,
Mhm.
because they're obviously coming to you. Like, what is the thing that founders maybe need the most guidance on that you can help with?
Oh, okay. So I think the founders, they are looking for enterprise partnership and adoption, because one of the key highlight of our program is the client relationship and partnership that we have, that we can offer to the fintechs. So most of the fintechs in the program, they are B2B or B2B to C model business models startups. So they were really looking for the client relationship, and they were really looking to, as soon as possible, talk to these clients, to establish a relationship and potentially have the opportunity to work with them to POC or like further deployment of their solution with this enterprise. But then I think one of the key thing that we would like to give to the fintechs or the founders would be, we ask them to be patient and make sure they got all the feedback from the workshops or the mentors to refine their value proposition or like go-to-market strategy, so that they're more prepared to talk to the clients, and then also help them refine their pitches so that it will be more targeted and more focused. And then we also want the founders to be a bit more coachable, so that they can take in all the critical feedback or constructive feedbacks that are given by our mentors. So these are some of the things we would really like the founders to be able to have when they join the program, because this will be really key for them throughout the program, because we have a lot of mentors and partners will be giving them feedback. So yeah, I think that would be a key for them to success in the program as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think asking for feedback is moderately hard, but actually receiving feedback is genuinely difficult,
Yeah,
especially if
yeah.
you're a founder and you're looking to kind of run your own business, or you've held senior roles for years. But what is it? What is the thing that you think most founders, like maybe a misconception they have about their own
Mhm,
business? What is it that
mhm,
people get wrong about
mhm.
what they're doing?
I think one of the common mistake that I see is they can't really articulate their storyline well, even though they have a really good technology. But then if they can't make the business people understand what they are doing, it's really hard for them to sell their solution, even though they have a really cool product. But if the buyers wouldn't understand what they're actually solving, what is the business outcome they were trying to achieve, so it would be a bit hard for the startups to keep going, and they wouldn't be able to get tractions.
Great stuff. I love that. So they basically hire a storyteller, which I'm
Yeah.
happy to onboard, because that is one of the services I offer as a freelancer, in case anyone cares. So thank you, Tree, for that wonderful setup. But
Yeah.
it's, and also I just to be clear, I keep drilling down on the what do people get wrong, but it's not
Yeah.
that I want people to get stuff wrong. It's more
Yeah.
that I can imagine that, like, if people don't join the cohort or don't join an accelerator like this,
Yeah.
it's what is that bit of feedback they're not getting, right? What is the
Mm.
lesson they're not learning? Because I think people can build brilliant things, but then, like you say, they don't necessarily know how to position it, or they
Yeah.
don't know how to distribute it, or forge
Hmm.
partnerships, or whatever else. So it's all really, really valuable stuff. I mean, shall we do? I don't know if you're able to do so, but could you provide an example of a company you've worked with, either this year or a previous year of the program, where you can kind of point out that you've been able to add a real value to them?
Yeah. I think I can mention Various AI, who just won our One to Watch award this year. So Various AI, they create a solution that is a trust and governance layer for AI agents. They help organizations to verify capability before deployment and also ensure accountable behavior in production. So they were really good at pitching. They use a very simple example to articulate their story, what they are doing. They address a very critical challenge in enterprise AI adoption lately. So they help the organizations to have more confidence, oversight, and control
Yeah.
as autonomous agents become embedded in most of the enterprise business operations. So it resonates really, really well with banks because the successful AI adoption increasingly depends not just on performance, but also on governance, transparency, and risk management. So they were really good at articulating what they are doing and um, how they can deploy to different enterprise in their business workflows. So yeah, I think we help them to engage with most of our partners, and then a lot of them, the feedback was their solution really relevant to them, and they were very interested in discussing next steps with various AI.
Brilliant. And I think there must be so much interest in AI this year, and that's reflected in the cohort that you've just
Mm-hmm.
had.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what kind of support do you offer for an AI business? Because it's still quite an early space, right? There are AI experts notionally, but I think most of us are just kind of figuring out where this all goes. So how do you support an AI business effectively?
So we have we other than our partners and our mentors, we also have Accenture SMEs support. So we have engaged with our data and AI practice Accenture SMEs to give industry insights to these startups. So our SMEs will give them insights on what the challenges of our enterprise financial institutions they were facing, and what are the potential opportunities and strategic themes that these financial institutions were looking for. So we try to give a bit more insight and help how they can approach the financial institutions and help them on enterprise adoption. So these are some of the support that we're trying to give the startups.
Great stuff. And I
Hmm.
would like to look at a more human angle now, because
Hmm.
obviously you clearly have a passion for working with startups and scale ups, and you've no doubt learned a lot being so close to them and also helping them through their journey. Um,
Hmm.
with that in mind, what are the biggest lessons that you personally would pass on to founders of fintech companies?
I think definitely what I've just mentioned before, being coachable and iterate quickly. I think is really important that they listen to advice, and this will help them to refine their proposition, go-to-market approach, and customer messaging, which is the storyline that I was talking about earlier. And then they make sure they have a clear use case and value proposition, because most of the time the buyers won't just buy the technology, but they buy the solution to a specific business problems. So if they can clearly articulate the problem, what the problem they are trying to solve, what are the measurable value that they are trying to deliver, that will help them to create a bit more market traction. And then one last thing is to make sure they have a defensible moat. A good idea isn't enough. Founders need to understand what makes their business difficult to be replicated, especially AI world is moving really fast. They need to make sure they have a differentiation why we need to use you, not building myself or use other AI firms or solutions. So yeah, that would be really key.
Yeah, the defensible moat point I think is crucial, especially for software and software as a
Yeah,
service. That's
yeah.
a massive thing now. I mean, the other thing is obviously you've, as I said, you're passionate about this area. Do you ever get the urge to found your own fintech? Have you ever been tempted to do so?
Um, Not yet, but very tempted to. You
Yeah,
definitely need to have the passion and ambition to build a solution. And then a lot of the founders they build their own business because they saw a specific industry problem in the area they're working in, and then they were trying to create their own solution to resolve these big challenges that they've been seeing in the industry they're working in. So yeah, not yet, but maybe potentially one day. Would love
yeah.
to establish my own business.
Amazing, amazing. And a question about London as well, because obviously the lab spans different countries, but is yeah the one you're working on is in London. Do you still feel like London is one of the key places to be for a startup? I have a feeling you're going to say yes. I can see you nodding, but I know you can tell everyone can tell listening from my accent. I'm British. We love talking ourselves down. We kind of do that almost
Yes,
professionally, don't we? So
yeah.
yeah, can you say something nice about London, please?
Yes, yes, definitely. We actually receive a lot of application in UK and in Europe. So the London market is really a big market for people not just in UK but in Europe. So that's why we open up our FinTech Innovation Lab London to countries that is outside of UK. This year we actually have five startups that outside of UK. One of them they are from New York, and one in Lithuania, one in France, one in Ireland, and one in Switzerland. So definitely UK is like one of the biggest fintech hub globally. And then definitely US market is also big, is also one of the key areas for the fintechs to expand to. So that's why we have the Fintech Innovation Lab New York, who is first established before London. And sometimes we got referral from the New York lab for the startups who would like to expand to the UK market.
Okay.
And sometimes we refer our startups to the New York lab who want to expand to the US market.
Yeah, that's cool. So the kind of cross-pollination between the groups, that's
Yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah. I want to mention also we actually have Hong Kong lab in APAC, and we also have recently established the fourth lab in Brazil, São Paulo. So we will also have traction there as well.
Great stuff. No, that's awesome. And for people that are listening in that would like to get involved with the next cohorts, how can they do that?
So we are opening our application normally in September and October. So now we've just finished our 2026 cohort program. So we are doing some preparation work to prepare for next year. So definitely we'll announce the application opening in our LinkedIn page, FinTech Innovation Lab London, in September and October time. We would love any referrals and also applications to our lab. Normally, referrals are the best quality that we receive, so we would love to have our fintech ecosystem to refer any quality and good fintechs that they've seen in the
Great stuff. I
innovation
think
area. Yeah.
that referral point is such a good bit of knowledge to pass on, and good that it makes a difference so people know that. And look, I think that brings us more or less to an end. Is there anything else you would like to add before I wrap this one up, Chui?
No, not really. I think it's been a really great year working with all the fintechs. They are very passionate. So I'm really glad that our fintech lab is not just helping the startup to build great technologies. We are helping them to build technology that financial institutions actually want to buy and deploy. So really, really great. We got a lot of positive feedback from our startups, our mentors, and also our partners, how organized and structured our program is, and how much good relationship they have established from our program. So it's really great to hear all the feedback that we've got.
Amazing. Thank you. Yeah, great to hear that it's been successful and you've heard all that kind of nice stuff. And also, again, a reminder to anyone listening who's interested to reach out and apply if you'd like to be part of it. So thank you, Chui. It's been a lot of fun chatting with you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. And likewise, thank you for everyone who's listened in. Make sure to subscribe to the LFG podcast and newsletter. Your support will be massively appreciated. Anyway, until next time, it's goodbye from me. Raising funds, speaking the club, drinking coffee.